Hey, hi, hello, greetings, welcome to another video, welcome to another drawing. We got some lo-fi hip-hop beats for you, we got commissioned work for you, we got a little drawing or two going on here. This was a little commission that I did for someone really cool. They asked me to do some album artwork for their SoundCloud. They showed me their tunes. They were a really chill person. It was a fun little commission. They were really nice. They were really complimentary, and they were really chill. They were upfront with payments. And all in all, it was a grand old time for both of us. Originally, they only wanted one little album artwork piece, but it ended up, I showed them some little thumbnail sketches, and they wanted two. It was very much one of those things where when I heard of it, I was like, oh yeah, definitely be up for that. But, you know, it's also one of those things where it's like, you know, it's like lo-fi hip-hop beats kind of, you know, coffee, cigarettes, anime gal kind of vibe. And you automatically kind of have like an image in your head. So it was one of those things where I felt like it was a nice little challenge to do, a nice little commission to have a go at. But it was also one of those things where it's like the idea came fast. It was very obvious the kind of thing that I was going to make. But having said that, it was still fun. It was still good. Had a lot, made a few different color variants. Took a while to sort of get the colors right, I think. Why not? Hey, I get people asking all the time, like, what's my setup? What's my thing? And that's a hard question to answer. I feel like I work differently depending on what I'm doing. I do a lot of different stuff. Sometimes I'm working with pencils and fine liners, scanning stuff in. Sometimes I'm working with pixel art. Sometimes I'm working with this kind of stuff. So it's hard to say, but in general, I feel like I've got to make a video at some point. The longer this goes on, the longer, and by this I mean me being bothered to make YouTube videos. Obviously I'm gonna get more and more people, like, you know, things are gonna change, things are gonna develop. I'm gonna get new people who haven't seen my stuff before or whatever. I understand that, like, lots of the time people just want to know stuff, so I feel like I'm gonna just have to kind of repeat myself a little bit. But also I think I've tried before to make videos where I like talked about my setup or talked about my process. They ended up being really long videos all over the place, rambling messes of videos, and I totally get that. So I totally get that why people might have missed the video where I actually talked about this, because at this point it was like years ago now. So all that is to say, I'm definitely, you know, I'm thinking about trying to make a video where I like talk about my setup and try and make it concise and easy to understand. But I might as well like talk about this little video. For most of my time making art, I had a very simple, tiny little pen and tablet, Wacom pen and tablet. It was called like Pen and Touch. Funnily enough, it's the same one that Ramon uses. He's an artist that I feel like I mention quite a lot. Ramon is amazing at line work and colors. And funnily enough, he was definitely a big inspiration in the sort of aesthetic and style that I was trying to go for with this. I mean, I think he's an expert of doing outwardly sketchy lines that are actually very like deliberate. They look like they're sort of a bit of a scribble, but like they're very deliberate. I feel like my line work here is maybe a bit too precise for the type of style that Ramon does. Like, I think he uses a slightly larger brush for some of his stuff. This is like very fine, like ballpoint pen line work. But as well as inspiring the colors and like vibe of this piece, he still uses the same little pen and touch tablet that I had for ages. But over the past few years, I've actually got the Wacom 13 HD, I think it's called, Wacom Cintiq 13 HD. It's basically the smallest Cintiq with a screen, unless they've got a new one by now. Anyway, I've got that. I use Photoshop for everything pretty much. I still think it's a rip-off, and the fact that it's like a subscription model that will go on forever is a rip. It was too highly priced anyway when they were just like selling it as a program on its own. But now that it's a subscription thing, they don't update it enough to be how much it costs. I've seen lots of people going on about how Clip Studio is really good, and I definitely should look into that, because like why pay for something when you don't have to? Am I right? Steal this info, steal this knowledge, steal from me. No one owns anything. I recently watched The Trial of the Chicago 7. It was a really good film. Really good film. It had Sacha Baron Cohen in and a bunch of other people. And it was about like a famous trial in America that I had no idea about, really. I don't think it was like trailered and advertised as like a movie about one of the most famous trials in American history. But I guess maybe they were exaggerating a bit. But, as me, a British young person, I had no idea about it. Never heard of it before. But it was great. I highly recommend it. Watch it. Go ahead and watch it. It's on Netflix, I think. Yeah, it was basically just about how these peaceful protesters were being essentially framed by the government as conspiring as like an organization, and it was this big planned thing, and they were going to cause violence in Chicago, when in fact they were just peacefully protesting, and the police exacerbated it. Very relevant, very topical. Good idea bringing that out now in these times. Sacha Baron Cohen played the part of this guy called Abby Hoffman, who I basically didn't know much about either. But he made this book. He wrote this book called Steal This Book. And I fucking loved the idea of that. He was basically like an activist, like a hippie and a protester. And he just was fighting against capitalism and like American sort of, the police, military industrial complex, etc. So righteous causes. But like finding out about him and seeing like him being funny and seeing Sacha Baron Cohen playing him and stuff, it's just inspiring. It's just cool to find out about new people in history where you're like, yes, I can relate. I like that. I like learning about stuff that vibes with what you believe in is always nice and always fun. And inspiring and helpful, and it gives you more, impetus to carry on with what you believe in. So I'm really interested. I really want to read his book. It was called Steal This Book, because like, and then because you just didn't believe in like ownership or money and shit like that. So then since then, the book has been stolen a lot from bookstores. But don't steal from your local bookstore, obviously. Just steal from giant corporations. That was a bit of a tangent. I'm sure I'll go back to that in a second. But to carry on my I don't know what happened there. I was talking about Ramon. I was talking about tablets, using Photoshop. That was it. How Photoshop's a rip. So I use Photoshop for this. I record my screen with QuickTime. Then I compile everything into iMovie, or I've recently got DaVinci Resolve, and then I make my videos. There's literally not a lot to it. I'm using my Cintiq graphics tablet, using Photoshop. This was pretty much, the line work was with one brush. That was a ballpoint pen brush, very small, very fine. I then normally paint underneath the colors. I block everything in, do the flats, and then I add shadow and shading and color and texture on top. And that's it. Normally I'll probably make the line work either a multiply or a color burn, depending on what I'm going for. And then I might add some textures over the top. Sometimes I'll add. There's a really good paint roller texture in Carl's brushes that I use, or I've also got some textures of like actual ink that's been rolled out, so you can see all the little dots, so it makes it look like an actual printed piece. I think I use that in this piece. But yeah, I used some reference. I looked up coffee cups. I looked up cigarette boxes. I looked up spoons. I think the whole piece looks quite good. It looks like a chill time. No, it was a fun little commission to do. I'm terrible. I feel like this is my stance. This is where I'm at in life. All right. I'm totally down to just carry on as is. I feel like I do get a bit annoyed sometimes at some of the pros out there that are sort of just like, oh, just carry on working, you'll make it, you'll do it. Or like you need to work harder or you need to get better. Because it really sort of just gives me big waves of survivorship bias, in that, because they've made it and they've only experienced what they've experienced, they just think that it's not easy, but it's doable. And I just think it's crazy to me. The industry's like not big enough to have the amount of artists that are out there, frankly. And you're just gonna sort of muddle through and find your own way. At the moment, I've got a pretty nice part-time job in an art shop that pays for everything, pays for my bills, pays for rent, and then anything that I do on top of that is great. So commissions like this, it's rad. But at the same time, as much as I want to make it so I am solely making art and that's how I make my living, at the same time, it's like I don't want to turn my entire life into worrying about what the future is going to bring, worrying about the steps that I need to take to make sure I'm a professional, because at the end of the day, like, what I truly want is just to sit around doing drawings. What I truly want to do is just make the art that I want to make, and that's that. And like, so if I'm able to do that, which I'm able to do it right now, then why should anyone sort of worry that you're not doing enough? Why should you worry that, you haven't made it yet, if you are capable of like spending a day drawing whatever you want? I feel like a lot of people go through their life thinking like, because the threat of you're going to run out of time and you want to make a big name for yourself and you want people to recognize you, or whatever, that sort of hangs over a lot of people, and they think that like it's as if there's a competition and you've got to beat the clock, and if you don't do enough, then you failed. And that's just bullshit. We all know it. Deep down you know it. But I get it. People have parents, people have family members, people have people in their life that bring that element of like pressure, bring that element of what are you doing with your life? You should do this, you should do that, why aren't you doing this? And I totally get it, and it's sort of like rough, and it's just a shame, because I think what it comes down to is that you're in the right. Like, if you, the thing that you've got to learn to do is to find sort of joy and contentment with the present moment. So whatever that may be, because if you have the ability to be somewhere where you're calm and happy and doing whatever it is you want, even if it's like doodling in a sketchbook, then you made it. Like, there's always going to be worries and turbulent things going on. There's always going to be, some people have way more horrible stuff to deal with in their life than others. So if you're in a situation where you can relax in a way, then fucking take it. Like, You know, there's no point in constantly worrying until you're gone. And then what? Because you did X or Y, that means you had a better life than if you didn't do X and Y. Baloney. Anyway, I don't know whether that was at all cogent. I don't know whether that had any meaning at all. All it is to say is that I think career is not as important as like looking after people. You know, what you're worried about achieving isn't as important as like being concerned for those around you, looking after people, empathizing with people, and just learning how to exist rather than thinking that your existence has a meaning, like has a purpose, has a thing that you have to strive to get. Because that's where the issue then comes. If you learn to be content with just existing, then you're going to have a good life regardless of what you're doing. But if you're putting an external idea on what it means to exist, then that's when you're just going to have worries, innit? You're going to stress about stuff and things. So anyway, there's some long hair hippie white guy thoughts for you. I hope you got your fill. For someone who goes on about not listening to other people, he sure does ramble a lot, doesn't he? He sure does pontificate a lot. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. I've been playing Pokemon. New Pokemon came out. DLC. It's fun. It's alright. It's weird. It's whatever. I've been doing drawing. Inktober's coming to an end. I've got 3 more drawings. I'm really pleased with the latest one. I've got 3 more drawings to do, and then my character design challenge has come to an end. And yeah, I've just been watching stuff. Been watching Mindhunter. Really cool. Been watching that Trial of the Chicago 7. I've mashed together talking about my process and things, and mashed it with some weird faux philosophical mumbo jumbo. But I hope you enjoyed anyway. I hope you're doing some good drawing out there. I hope you haven't making it through. I hope you're listening to some lo-fi beats. You're chilling out. I appreciate you coming along this journey with me. The end. Goodbye. Farewell. Much love. Keep up the good fight. Learn about some good stuff. Trying to end it. I'm trying to end the video. I'm trying to do it. Can't quite get there. But I suppose it'll just end when it ends.